Hi everyone, I'm Arglefumf. This is the schedule for my book review channel for December 2023. I'm going to read a bunch of books this month, mostly Christmas romance novels, more Babysitter's Club, Nancy Drew files, and then a smattering of random books which were published in 2023. On the 7th, I'll be doing Encanto, We Don't Talk About Bruno, and Encanto, We Don't Talk About Bruno. Yes, they made two different books about the song. Also Encanto, Mystery in the Rainforest, which is interesting because it's a sequel to Encanto. It takes place when they are planning Dolores' wedding to Mr. Mariano. They don't say who she's going to marry in the book, but it's gotta be him, right? Right? I mean, I assume that is it. On the 4th, Babysitter's Club number 118. It's a book about training a guide dog for the blind. There is a blind girl named Deb in this book, and she is very unpleasant. A lot of reviewers just hated the book because she is so nasty and upset. I didn't think it was that bad, but I still don't think it's a good book. Mystery number 34 is Marianne and the Haunted Bookstore, which is based on Edgar Allan Poe. I think it was kind of okay. I don't think I liked any of the Babysitter's Club books posted that month. I mean, like, we've also got Stacy's ex-boyfriend, which I didn't really like. Stacy's boyfriend, Robert, is very sad and depressed, and she wants to help him, but at the same time, she's not dating him anymore, and so it's super awkward. And then there's Marianne in the playground fight, where just the Babysitter Club members are fighting with each other again. I think it's just not interesting. Sorry. So I didn't really like the Babysitter's Club books, which I am reviewing this month. We also have Nancy Drew Files number 79, No Laughing Matter. There is a comedy club, which is a cover for an illegal gambling operation, so that's cool. Bess gets to be on stage and act in the comedy club, which should have been interesting, but it wasn't. We don't even get to hear any of the comedy routines in this book. That's a letdown. The Power of Suggestion is one where Ned's friend is hypnotized into committing murder. Yes, it's hypnosis. It was kind of weird, to be honest. Let's get to the Christmas romance novels, shall we? On the 13th, Twas the Night After Christmas. So, this is a Regency-era romance novel where Pierce, gosh, he just hates his mother, and he hates Christmas, but this lovely young woman tricks him into visiting his mother for Christmas, and they get closer, and he decides he likes Christmas after all. In a Holidaze, this one's okay. It's a time loop story, but it's not really a time loop story. The time loop happens twice, and that's it. So she makes like 2 rotations through the time loop, and then the final 70% of the book is all just one loop, no time travel whatsoever. And I thought that was weird. I thought it was weird to make it a time loop story for the first third, and then basically ignore it for the final 70%. That was odd. Other than that, it's an okay cozy Christmas story about a guy and a girl falling in love. Books published in 2023. You might know, they made a Little Mermaid remake this year, and so they published a couple of Ariel graphic novels. One is Ariel and the Curse of the Sea Witches, where she and Eric go north to supervise the construction of a port. Unfortunately, there are mermaids up north, and they don't want this new port to be built, and so there's kind of a skirmish, maybe even a battle. I mean, Ariel stops the battle from happening, of course, because she's a great hero, but yeah, that's what happens. Ariel has to stop them from fighting. Also, Part of Your World, A Twisted Tale. I thought it was okay. The illustrations are fantastic, by the same people who illustrated the Magic Tree House graphic novels. So I thought the illustrations were probably the best part of that graphic novel. Next, Nancy Drew Files. So I mentioned this guy who was like hypnotized into being evil. Well, guess what? He reappears in the next Nancy Drew book, but it's his cousin now who is like being framed for murder. Uh-oh. And And then Nancy Drew Files 82 is based on one of the original Nancy Drew books, The Ringmaster's Secret. I have not read The Ringmaster's Secret, but I could kind of tell that, hey, this is based on something, right? Because it's pretty different for the series. And then 2 Christmas romance novels will be published on Christmas itself. The Corner of Holly and Ivy. Oh, it looks like it's a cute Christmas romance with a cute dog, but it's really kind of dark and serious, and I didn't like that. The other one I'll be posting is Bring Me Home for Christmas. I'm about 6 chapters into it. Haven't finished my review for it yet. On the 28th, Young Alfred, Pain in the Butler is a funny Batman graphic novel that was published this year. What is the Story of Nancy Drew is a non-fiction book telling the story of the Nancy Drew series. So I thought that was cool too. Also on the 31st, I'll be posting a review for Dark River, the second book in the Power of Three trilogy. I kind of forget everything that happens in that book. It's been too long. I'm also going to be reading The Christmas Pig by J.K. Rowling, which I've never heard of before. Hopefully it's a good story. And here are the various book reviews I did in November. Read a lot of books here. So, a bunch of Sofia the First books. Some of them are straightforward adaptations of episodes, like Just One of the Princes and the Royal Slumber Party. There are several Sofia the First books written by Kathy Hapka and illustrated by Grace Lee, which are really, really good. They put a lot of extra effort into these books. Sofia the First, The Floating Palace, and The Curse of Princess Ivy. So those 3 were exceptionally good. Those were very good. They were not just copy-pasting the episode. They had great illustrations, well-written story, and part of that's because they actually did like fancy apps for the App Store. They had Sofia's voice actress read the book out loud. It's fancy, and I talk about that in my review of The Floating Palace. I also read the first 3 Magic Treehouse books. I read the books and the graphic novels. The graphic novel is basically the same as the original book for book 1 and book 3, but not book number 2. With book number 2, the graphic novel adds a bunch of stuff, like the middle part of the graphic novel. Totally unique to the graphic novel. It's stuff that's not in the book, and it was kind of interesting too. I don't know why they kept book 1 and 3 the same, but changed book 2. That seems like an odd decision to me. Boxcar Children, The Treehouse Mystery was an okay graphic novel, kind of. I read a lot of Dogman because my daughter's really into Dogman, so I read like 3 Dogman books. Book number 5, book number 6 is Brawl of the Wild, and then book number 7 and 8. Honestly, I can't tell you the difference between most of the Dogman books. They're very similar, a lot of them, but book number 8 was quite excellent. I really like that. That's probably my favorite of the series so far. I read Twisted Tales number 9. That's being uploaded as I'm recording this. So that's the last book I have to read for the Twisted Tales series. That and number 12, What Once Was Mine, which is based on Rapunzel. So I'm now done with the Twisted Tales series. Hooray, I'm finished with that. I'm also done with the Basil of Baker Street series, also known as the Great Mouse Detective series. So I read book 5, which is the Wild West, and then I read the trio of books which form the reboot. They tried to reboot the series a couple of decades later, so three reboot books. They were all written by Kathy Hapka, who, as I said, wrote those excellent Sofia the First books, but I like the Sofia the First books she wrote better than her Great Mouse Detective books. And then I did a couple supplementary videos, so this is all of my reviews just put together in one video, and then just unscripted thoughts on the series in general. And I think those are all the books I read in November. Let's just double check. Twisted Tales, The Dogman, Magic Treehouse, Great Mouse Detective. Ah, here's the one I missed. Nancy Drew Files number 85, Sea of Suspicion. That was kind of interesting. It's one where Nancy has to find buried treasure off of the coast of Florida, and she has done that before. It did remind me of other Nancy Drew books, but I still thought it was okay. I liked it enough. And then Boxcar Children number 9, The Haunted Cabin Mystery. Okay, so those are all the books I read in November. Thanks for watching this video. Hope you guys have a great December, and I'll see you next year.